All right, thank you guys, and welcome to the video here today. My name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. I also sell my personal bets on brockpage.com, and I have packages on that website starting at just $1.99. Now, we are coming off our second straight winning day of picks on that website. We went 4-2 yesterday in our six personal bets. So a pretty good day, 2 straight days of wins. So we're looking to, keep it going here and do a little bit more of the same here today. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to go ahead and start off with the Giants taking on the Cardinals, 2:15 Eastern first pitch. St. Louis, they are minus $1.20 with the total at 8.5. Dakota Hudson for the Cards. Jake Junis for San Francisco. Junis, pretty good year thus far in limited action. 15 innings of work, 15 Ks, 1.20 ERA, 0.87 WHIP. So pretty good work out of Junis. And I tell you what, whenever you're a pitcher and you go to San Francisco, it almost seems like you strike gold. They're doing a great job with their analytics. But San Francisco as a team playing some pretty good baseball right now. 6-game winning streak with victories over the likes of Colorado in this very St. Louis team. Now offensively, San Fran's hitting the ball as well. A little bit different than last year. They weren't great at the plate last season. This year, certainly turning things around, averaging over 5 runs per game. And they're actually in the top 3 in the majors right now in scoring. Now they're taking on a Cardinals club on the other side of things, kind of on a little bit of a downward spiral here. They lost 5 out of their last 6. They actually have struggled hitting for power as well. Offensively, they're in the bottom 10 in home runs per 9. And when it comes to the pitching in this one, Dakota Hudson, not sure what's happening here. He's got 15 walks compared to just 18 strikeouts. And of course, he has a 1.32 WHIP. Not really surprising there considering his walks to strikeout ratio. Now, total-wise, when it comes to these teams' last 10 head-to-head meetings, the Cards averaged less than 3.8 runs a game during that stretch. They're also 4-3 to the under in their last 7 ball games this season. Meanwhile, the Giants on the other side of things, they are 8-6 to the under when they travel. I'm going to lean toward the Giants plus $1 and the under 8.5 runs. All right, next ball game, it is going to be Padres taking on the Braves, 4:05 Eastern first pitch. Atlanta's the $1.35 favorite at home, totals 8 runs. We got Charlie Morton here on the mound for Atlanta. Sean Manaea for the Pods. Now, Manaea having a really good start to the year. Strikeouts are up for him. He's fanned 38 batters already. 3.75 ERA, 1.11 WHIP. So really good numbers out of Manaea here. And San Diego as a team, they're playing really well on the road. They're 11-5 straight up as the away team. And they're currently in the top 10 in the majors right now in scoring on average per contest. So doing a lot of really good things offensively at the plate. And of course, a lot of that is mostly thanks to Manny Machado, who's got 7 bombs on the year. And he's currently hitting .371 at the plate. And of course, when it comes to OPS with Manny, he's got an OPS of 1.056. Amongst the league leaders in that particular category. Now, Eric Hosmer, he's batting .377 at the plate as well, and he's in the top 10 in the majors right now in OPS, so those two doing a lot of damage. Now, Atlanta on the other side of things, when it comes to their pitching, they're actually amongst the worst in the majors right now in runs allowed per game at home, so this is a San Diego lineup that can certainly potentially do some damage here today. And Charlie Morton, not looking all that great this year. Just a 2-3 record, 5.64 ERA, and a 1.64 WHIP. Now, one more thing to add here about Atlanta. When it comes to their hitting, they've actually struck out a lot this year. They're currently in the bottom 3 in strikeouts at the plate. So these guys certainly having problems making contact with the baseball. Although they did strike out a lot last year. during the championship season. But I'd rather not strike out as much as they do if you're an Atlanta fan. Now, total-wise, the Braves are 13-6 to the over at Truist Park. They're also 20-13 to the over at any location. Meanwhile, the Padres on the other side of things, they are 10-6 to the over when they travel. Going to lean toward another underdog here. We went heavy on the dogs yesterday. We went 50% in the free picks, 14-14 in the free picks, but a lot of plus money there. So I had a good day yesterday. We're going to lean toward another dog here. I'm going to lean toward the Padres plus $1.15 and the over 8 runs. All right, next ball game. This is a first of a doubleheader here. It is going to be Angels taking on the Athletics, 4:07 Eastern first pitch. And once again, that's game 1 of the double dip. Now, the Angels are minus $1.20 in game 1 with the total at 7.5. Looks like Jonathan Diaz for the Angels, Paul Blackburn for Oakland. Now, when it comes to the total in this one, Oakland is 60% to the under at the Coliseum. They're also 21-13 to the under at any location. Meanwhile, the Angels on the other side of things, they went 9-1 to the under in their last 10 meetings with the Athletics. So plenty of unders to go around between these two squads. And when it comes to selecting a winner in this one, this game's being featured as my Major League Baseball tier package bet on BrockPage.com here today. I'm actually 4-1 in my last 5 bets in that package. And I'm also hitting at 75% my last 16 bets in that very same package as well. Now, guys, if you do end up signing up for my Major League Baseball tier package bet here today, just keep in mind you're going to get access to that membership every single day all the way through the end of May. And as an added bonus, guys, you're going to get access. You're going to get full access to all the cheaper memberships on that website as well. They're going to be all included with your purchase. So if you get that Major League Baseball tier package bet, all the cheaper memberships are going to be included with your purchase. But anyway, guys, as far as making a free pick is concerned with this ball game, I'm going to lean toward the under 7.5 in game 1. All right, next ball game, it is going to be Orioles taking on the Tigers, 4:10 p.m. East. Detroit's the $1.20 favorite, total 7.5. Michael Pineda for Detroit. Bruce Zimmerman for Baltimore. Now, Zimmerman having a pretty good start to the year here. Record-wise, he's 2-1, but he's got a 2.67 ERA and a 1.19 whip, so pretty good numbers there. And Bruce pretty much averaging a strikeout an inning. He's got 30 Ks and just over 30 innings of work. Now, Baltimore as a team, they've gotten the W in 6 out of their last 9, and they're led by Austin Hayes, who's batting .291, along with 52 total bases. Now, they're taking on a Detroit squad who really does a poor job putting runners across the plate. And as a matter of fact, there's nobody who does it worse right now. These guys are dead last in scoring on average per contest. They're actually scoring under 2.9 runs a game right now. And no real surprise here. Tigers dead last in home runs per game. And as a team, the Tigers have already fallen to 13 games below 500. And when they play at Comerica Park, really just disappointing their home fans. They got the W in 6 out of 19 home games this year. That is it. Now, total-wise, Detroit 23-10 to the under at Comerica Park this year. Plenty of unders for Tigers bettors here. Meanwhile, Baltimore 11-6 to the under when they travel. So I'm going to lean toward yet another underdog in this one. Give me Baltimore plus $1 and the under 7.5. All right, next ball game, Milwaukee taking on the Marlins, 6:10 p.m. East. Now, Milwaukee's the $1.30 favorite on the road, total 7 runs. Eric Lauer for the Brewers, Trevor Rogers for Miami. Now, Rogers not off to a hot start this year. He's just 1-4 with a 5.00 ERA and a 1.48 whip. Meanwhile, offensively at the plate, Miami's currently in the bottom 10 in home scoring, bottom 10 in home hits. So really not getting the job done at the plate at Lone Depot Park. Now, Milwaukee on the other side of things, they got the W in 6 out of their last 10 themselves. And they've done a great job hitting for power. They're actually in the top 3 right now in the bigs in home runs per contest. Of course, most of that is thanks to Willy Adames and Hunter Renfroe, who each have 8 home runs apiece. Of course, Rowdy Tellez, he's got 7 homers on the year as well. Offensively, Milwaukee's averaging over 5 runs a game scoring-wise. And even if the bats don't come alive here for Milwaukee, they got a real good one in Eric Lauer here today. He's 3-0 on the year, 1.82 ERA, .94 WHIP. And strikeouts are definitely up for Lauer. He struck out 42 batters in just under 30 innings of work. Now, total-wise, the Brewers are 11-8 to the over when traveling. And when it comes to these teams' last 10 head-to-head meetings, we saw 60% of those ball games get over the total as well. Now, the Fish, on the other side of things, they are 8-6 to the over in front of their home fans. I'm going to lean toward the traveling Milwaukee Brewers, -130, and the over 7 runs. All right, next matchup. It is going to be Blue Jays taking on the Rays, and that's going to be a 6:10 Eastern first pitch. Tampa Bay's -1.25 at home, totals 8.5. Ryan Yarbrough for the Rays, Hyun-Jin Ryu for Toronto. And even though Ryu's struggled in the early going here, we're looking at a Toronto lineup who's in the top 10 in hits per game, and they're also doing a pretty good job hitting for power as well. The Blue Jays ranking in the top 10 in home runs per contest. George Springer and Vlad Guerrero, they have 7 home runs apiece. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay on the other side of things, really not, getting a whole lot of offensive production when they face Toronto. They're actually averaging just 3.9 runs a game in their last 10 head-to-head meetings with the Jays. And when it comes to, offensive production here, Tampa Bay, they're in the bottom 10 in strikeouts at the plate at home. So having some problems making contact with the baseball in front of their home fans. Now, pitching-wise, Ryan Yarbrough, tough start to the year. 6.14 ERA, 1.91 WHIP. And when it comes to the total in this one, Tampa Bay 10-7 to the under at the Trop. They're also 8-2 to the under in their last 10 head-to-head meetings with Toronto. And of course, the Blue Jays, they are 19-14 to the under for the whole year. And guys, once again, we're going to lean toward another dog. Little plus money play here. Give me Toronto plus 105 and the under 8.5 runs. All right, next contest. Cincinnati taking on Pittsburgh, 6:35 Eastern start time. The Reds are -120, totals 8 runs. Luis Castillo for Cincinnati, Zach Thompson for Pittsburgh. Now, Thompson doing a pretty good job with strikeouts. He's got 19 Ks and just over 20 innings of work. Meanwhile, offensively at the plate, the Pirates are doing a pretty nice job getting on base at home. Of course, a lot of that's thanks to Ke'Bryan Hayes, who's hitting .324 with 18 walks and 13 runs scored. Now, he's going to be taking on Luis Castillo on the other side of things. Very limited action in this year. He's got only 4 2/3 innings under his belt. He already has a 5.79 ERA. And speaking of this Cincinnati pitching staff, they're dead last in opponents' OPS, and they're also allowing more runs per contest than any other team in the bigs right now. Now, Cincinnati as a team, they're just 4-15 straight up when traveling this year, so really struggling on the road. Now, total-wise, Cincinnati 8-2 to the over in their last 10 versus Pittsburgh. They're also 23-10 to the over for the entire season. I'm going to lean toward yet another underdog. Give me Pittsburgh plus $1 and the over 8 runs. All right, next ball game. Astros taking on the Nationals, 7:05 Eastern first pitch. Houston's -165, total 8.5. Christian Javier for Houston, Eric Fedde for Washington. Now, Fedde's just 2-2 on the season with a 1.43 WHIP. And Washington as a team really struggling at Nationals Park. They got the W in just 4 out of 18 contests at home. And no real surprise here, they're in the bottom 5 in home scoring. Now they're taking on Christian Javier on the other side of things. He's 2-0 on the season with a .83 ERA and a .78 WHIP. Javier, he also has struck out 25 batters, and just over 21 innings of work. Now, Houston, red hot right now, 11-game winning streak. And a lot of that's thanks to Yordan Alvarez, who's got 11 home runs on the year. He's second in the majors in that home run category. And he also has an OPS of 1.021. One more thing to add here about this Houston lineup. Doing a great job hitting for power. They are in the top 5 in the majors right now in home runs per game. Now, total-wise, Houston's 7-3 to the over in their last 10 versus Washington. They actually are averaging nearly 5 runs a game during that span. So I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Houston minus 165 and the over 8.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Boston taking on Texas, 7:05 Eastern first pitch. The Texas Rangers are minus $120, totals 8 runs. Glenn Otto for the Rangers, Rich Hill for Boston. Now Hill comes into today's ball game with some pretty good numbers. He's got a 2.86 ERA and a 1.09 WHIP. And offensively, Boston top 10 in road hits, 5.3 runs a game in their last 10 head-to-head meetings with Texas. Offensively, Xander Bogaerts, he's batting .347 with 19 runs scored. Meanwhile, Rafael Devers, 308 batting average, 5 homers, 20 runs scored. Texas on the other side of things really struggling at Globe Life Field. Winners of just 6 out of 17 home games. And they're in the bottom 5 in hits per contest, struggling at the plate a little bit. Total-wise, Texas 10-7 to the over at home, 60% to the over in their last 10 head-to-head meetings. I'm going to lean toward Boston plus $1 over 8 runs. Next matchup, Yankees, White Sox, 7:10 p.m. East. New York's minus $150, total 8.5. Jordan Montgomery for the Yankees. Dallas Keuchel for Chicago. Now, Keuchel's off to a bit of a rough start here. Very uncharacteristic for him. He's got a 2-3 record, 6.86 ERA, 2.10 WHIP. He also has 12 walks compared to just 13 strikeouts. So, got to be career loser, for him right now. And Chicago as a team, losers of 3 out of their last 4, losing record at Guaranteed Rate Field. Meanwhile, the Yankees on the other side, really traveling well this year. 10-4 straight up on the road. First in the majors in homers, doing a great job hitting for power. Aaron Judge, 12 home runs on the year. Giancarlo Stanton, 10 homers himself. And no real surprise here, this New York lineup, first in the majors in OPS. They're averaging over 5 runs a game. Now, pitching-wise, I'll tell you what, even if the Yankees bats don't come alive here, they got a good one in Jordan Montgomery. He's got a 2.90 ERA thus far and a .94 WHIP. When it comes to the total in this one, the Yankees are 8-6 of the under on the road this year. Chicago on the other side, 10-7 of the under at home. I'm going to lean toward the Yankees minus $150 and the under 8.5. Next ball game, Mariners, Mets, 7:10 East. Mets are minus 175, total 7 runs. Chris Bassett for New York. Let's try that again. George Kirby, not George Kirby, George Kirby for Seattle. Kirby, 6 innings of work, no earned runs allowed, 7 strikeouts. Seattle winners of 3 out of their last 5. And that includes a 2-1 victory last night over these very Mets. Now, New York on the other side of things, they actually have a losing record against the run line at home. So these guys really struggling to cash in on the run line. And that's certainly important here because if you're leaning toward New York and you want to get any type of value, you're going to have to lay that 1.5 in this one because it's a pretty steep price point. Now, when it comes to head-to-head meetings, New York, they're averaging only 2.9 runs a game in their last 10 contests against Seattle. Offensively, one more thing to add here, the Mets bottom 10 in home scoring. So struggling to put runners across the plate in Flushing, Queens. Now, total-wise, the Mets are 20-14 to the under for the entire season. Seattle, 11-6 to the under when they travel. I'm going to lean toward the Mariners plus 1.5, keeping this one close, and the under 7 runs. Next ball game, Cleveland, Minnesota, 7:10 p.m. East. Cleveland's minus $1.25, total 9 runs. Shane Bieber for the Guardians. No confirmed starter yet for Minnesota. But regardless of who ends up starting, this Minnesota pitching staff as a collective unit really struggling keeping the ball inside the park. They're currently in the bottom 10 in home runs allowed. They also lost 3 out of their last 4 ball games, and they currently rank in the bottom 3 in home strikeouts at the plate. Now, they're taking on Shane Bieber here today, who comes into today's ball game with a 1.19 whip and 29 strikeouts. Cleveland, winners of 5 out of their last 8, and at the plate, really doing a nice job hitting the baseball, doing a great job getting on base. They're actually in the top 3 in the majors right now in team batting average. Jose Ramirez, he's hitting .302, 7 home runs, first in the majors in RBI. Meanwhile, teammate Owen Miller, he's hitting .314 with 10 doubles on the year. When it comes to the total in this one, Cleveland 11-8 to the over when traveling, 19-12 to the over for the entire season. I'm going to lean toward the Guardians minus $1.25 and the over 9 runs. Next matchup, Royals, Rockies, 8:10 Eastern start time. Colorado's minus $1.60, total 10.5. German Marquez for the Rockies, Carlos Hernandez for Kansas City. Hernandez off to a tough start here this year. 0-2 record, 7.10 ERA. Hernandez also has a 1.90 whip. And he's walked more batters than he struck out. He's walked a dozen batters and only has 10 Ks. And when it comes to playing on the road, Kansas City really struggling away from Kauffman Stadium. Winners of just 5 out of 15 road games this year. They're also in the bottom 5 in team OPS at the plate. Sorry, got to turn that off there. But anyway, when it comes to this Kansas City lineup, they're averaging less than 3.7 runs a game, and they're also struggling hitting for power, bottom 3 in home runs per contest. Now, Colorado on the other side of things, a little bit different story. They're first in the majors in team batting average. They're having little problems getting runners on the base paths. Jose Iglesias, he's hitting .316 thus far in the year. Of course, C.J. Cron, he's got 9 home runs on the season himself, along with a .309 batting average. Now, total-wise, Colorado's last 4 straight all got over the posted number. Meanwhile, 3 out of Kansas City's last 4 got over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward Colorado minus 160 and the over 10.5 runs. All right, next ball game. It is going to be Cubbies taking on the Diamondbacks, 8:10 p.m. East. Arizona's minus $1.55, totals 8 runs. Zach Gallen for Arizona, Kyle Hendricks for Chicago. Now, Hendricks is just 2-3 on the season with a .438 ERA. Chicago, they're already 9 games below 500, and they've taken the L in 7 out of their last 9. Now, the Cubbies are having some problems at the plate. They're definitely not hitting for power. They're currently in the bottom 10 in home runs, bottom 10 in strikeouts per 9. Meanwhile, Arizona, on the other side of things, they've got Zach Gallen on the bump here today. 2-0 record, .95 ERA, and he also has a .71 whip. So a lot of really good stuff out of Gallen this season. And Arizona as a team, they're really starting to turn it on here. Winners of 10 out of their last 13. And a lot of that is thanks to guys like Dalton Varsho and Christian Walker, who have 6 home runs apiece, respectively. Now, total-wise, Arizona 15-4 to the under at Chase Field this year. I'm going to lean toward Arizona minus 155 and the under 8 runs. All right, next ball game, the second of a doubleheader. That's going to be the Angels taking on the Athletics, 9:40 Eastern first pitch. The Angels are minus $1.60 in game 2, totals 8 runs. Looks like Michael Lorenzen for the Angels, Adam Oller for Oakland. Now, since the game 1, the first game of this doubleheader, since that is one of my personal bets, I'm actually not going to handicap game 2. Don't want to give any hints as to who I'm leaning toward in game 1. So we're actually going to do a no bet, a no pick for game 2. Sorry about that, guys. I know that I normally bang on people for breaking down a game for 5 minutes and then saying it's a stay away game. But yeah, no pick for that game. We're not going to handicap game 2. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It is going to be Philadelphia taking on the Dodgers, 10:10 p.m. East. The LA Dodgers are minus 185, totals 8 runs. Julio Urias on the bump here for Los Angeles. Ranger Suarez on the mound here for the Phillies. Now, Suarez, pretty good season thus far. 3-1 record, 3.68 ERA. Suarez also has 22 strikeouts on the year. A lot of good stuff out of Suarez to start the season. Now, the Phillies, they're getting hot right now. They're starting to heat up a little bit. They're on a 3-game winning streak with 2 of those victories coming against the Dodgers in this very series. As a matter of fact, offensively at the plate, Philadelphia has scored 21 total runs in their last 2 games against the Dodgers. Alec Boehm, 313 batting average, 16 runs scored, 15 RBI. Should be a good day for him going up against the lefty Urias. Meanwhile, Gene Segura, 307 batting average for him, 17 runs scored, and 49 total bases. Obviously, Schwarber and Harper, their home runs are up this year, although should be tough for them today going up against Urias. But I think Boehm and Segura should be able to get the job done as they are right-handed batters. Now, the Dodgers on the other side of things, they lost their last 3 straight. Obviously, I just said 2 of those losses coming against the Phils. Dodgers also took the L in 4 out of their last 5. This Dodger pitching staff, although very good, they actually allowed 7.8 runs a game in their last 4 losses. And when it comes to hitting at the plate, offensively, the Dodgers are currently in the bottom 10 in home hits per game. So struggling a little bit getting on base at Dodger Stadium. Now, total-wise, the Dodgers saw 3 out of their last 4 home games get over the posted number. They also went 70% to the over in their last 10 ball games at any location. Meanwhile, the Titans saw 4 out of their last 5 away from home get over the posted number as well. I think we're going to see some more of the same here from the Phils. I think Ranger Suarez gives them a good opportunity to at least keep this one close. So I'm going to lean toward Philadelphia plus 1.5 and the over 8 runs. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on brockpage.com. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on my website, just keep in mind you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on brockpage.com, you're going to get access to that content every single day all the way through the end of May. I always tell folks in almost every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And guys, if you want to get access to every single bet that I give out on that website, you're going to want to think about signing up for my board member tier package. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at brockpage.com.